Ollie the Purple Elephant. Mr. McLaughlin had always told his children that should they ever come across a purple elephant, they could keep him. So this is Mr. McLaughlin, okay? This is Mrs. McLaughlin, and this is their two children. So Mr. McLaughlin told his two children that if they ever see a purple elephant, they can keep the purple elephant. Peter and Shelby, this is Peter, this is Shelby, so wanted an elephant to call their own. They really wanted an elephant. One day on a stroll through the park, Shelby tugged at her father's shirt and said, "Look, Daddy." Look, Daddy, what? Sure enough, there in the flower garden sat a purple elephant. He was lost and had no place to call home. Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin looked at each other in disbelief. They were like, Is that really a purple elephant? Well, a promise is a promise, said Mr. McLaughlin. Because Mr. McLaughlin promised his kids that if they see a purple elephant, they can keep it. So, Mr. Elephant, said Peter, would you like to come live with us so they get to keep it? That would be nice, said the elephant, but please call me Ollie. So this elephant's called Ollie. And that is how Ollie came to live with the McLaughlin family. Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin gave Ollie the rules of the house. What are the rules? Be nice to one another, no running with scissors, and help with the chores. Ollie was agreeable to these, so Ollie said, "Okay, I'll obey the rules." The children made up a bed on the fold-out couch in the living room. Ollie didn't have a room to call his own, but he didn't mind. He was happy. He was very happy. So even though Ollie the elephant doesn't have a room, but he was very happy to be living with the family. Ollie quickly involved himself in the children's life. He enjoyed hopscotch. This is hopscotch, though he needed some practice. You would think him a natural at soccer, so you would think that Ollie's a very good is very good at playing soccer, but he preferred Shelby's ballet lessons, so he prefers to dance ballet instead. He also enjoyed kickball, but he was too strong a kicker for his own good, so he likes playing kickball, but he every time kick the ball until very high. Ollie was especially popular on hot days when the kids needed relief from the heat. So during hot days, the children love Ollie the most because he can splash water at them. After dinner, the McLaughlin family had impromptu dance parties, so they like to dance. Oh, the dance parties they would have. Ollie loved to dance. But Ginger, who's Ginger? This is Ginger, okay? The McLaughlin's cat, Ginger, didn't much care for the dancing. He didn't like them to dance. She didn't much care for Ollie. He didn't like Ollie for that matter. He had taken her favorite spot on the couch at night. So actually, Ginger the cat, he sleeps on the couch every night. But now Ollie sleeps on the couch. So Ginger doesn't like Ollie. Mr. Puddlebottom, this is Mr. Puddlebottom, the McLaughlin's downstairs neighbor, certainly wasn't happy with the new tenant at all. So Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin's neighbor, this one called Mr. Puddlebottom, didn't like all of them, okay? Didn't like Ollie because Ollie makes so much noise. Can you see when he dances, right? Boom, 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 boom. He makes so much noise upstairs. Over the months, Ginger's disdain for Ollie grew and grew. So Ginger started hating Ollie more and more. Finally, she came up with a devious plan. So Ginger had an evil plan. What's an evil plan? What's the evil plan? One evening, Ginger scratched at Mr. Puddlebottom's door. So Ginger went to find Mr. Puddlebottom. He was particularly cranky as the dance parties upstairs were particularly lively. So he's in a very bad mood because upstairs is too noisy. They're all dancing. His foul mood aside, he invited Ginger in for a saucer of milk. So Mr. Puddlebottom invited Ginger in. She laid out her scheme and Mr. Puddlebottom's scowl gave way to a wide grin. So Ginger told Mr. Puddle, hey, let's get rid of Ollie the elephant. And so Mr. Puddle, he was angry at first. Now he started smiling because he knows that, hey, let's get rid of Ollie the elephant. It's brilliant, he said. My famous cousin would be delighted, would be happy to have an extra animal for his show. And with that, the conspirators shook hands. So these two, they're going to sell Ollie the elephant to the circus. Circus is 马戏团. Okay. That night, when the McLaughlins were all tucked in their beds, Ginger cozied up to Ollie. So Ginger went to look for Ollie. You know, the McLaughlins family regrets ever taking you in. So Ginger told Ollie that, hey, actually the family, they don't want you. They don't want you at all. Naturally, this upset Ollie. So Ollie started to feel very upset and sad. The McLaughlins meant the world to him. He really loved the McLaughlins. The thought of being a burden on them broke his heart. So Ollie really loved the McLaughlins and he don't want to trouble them anymore. But where could I go? Ollie said. Well, said Ginger, the circus is in town for one final night. Perhaps they would take you in. So Ginger told Ollie, you can go to the circus, okay? So Ginger helped Ollie pack his bags. Oh dear, Ollie's gonna leave the family. Ollie left a heartfelt note apologizing for ever being a problem. But the McLaughlins would never read it, for the second Ollie walked out the front door, Ginger ate the note out. So Ollie the elephant, he wrote a very touching note to say sorry to the family that he has been a trouble to them. But actually Ollie the elephant is not a trouble to them. The family loved Ollie, but it's the cat Ginger who bluffed Ollie that the family didn't like Ollie, okay? But the note that Ollie wrote, the family wouldn't be able to read it because why? Ginger ate it up. Ginger ate the note up. So Peter and Shelby awoke the next day wondering where Ollie was. They're like, where's Ollie? Where's Ollie? Perhaps he had gone for a morning jog. When they returned home from school and he was still nowhere to be found, they grew concerned. They started worrying, where is Ollie? By the time they put up lost elephant posters, they started pasting all these posters around the neighborhood. The circus had already left the city. So the circus that Ollie went to, they have left the city already. So now Ollie is gone, out of town. Ringmaster Rich ran a tight ship. This is the ringmaster of the circus. If his animals weren't performing, they were rehearsing. If they weren't rehearsing, they were traveling. So the animals in the circus are very busy. They have to work every day. On these midnight trips, Ollie lay awake chatting with the new friends he had made. So he made some new friends, the monkey and the lion, Leon the lion, Zoe the monkey. And Ollie shared their dreams, their passions, and stories of the lives they had left behind. A year later, the circus returned to the city. Opening night came and went with no sign of Peter and Shelby. So, Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin. So, Ollie's performing and he hopes Peter or Shelby or Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin would watch him, but they didn't come. Because Peter and Shelby, Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin doesn't even know that Ollie's in the circus, is working the circus. Night after night, Ollie would look out into the audience for his old family, but they were never there. Oh dear. After the last performance, Ringmaster Rankovich was feeling generous and gave everyone the night off. So the ringmaster said, okay animals, you may rest for today. Today you may go anywhere you like. Ollie wanted to show Leon and Zoe his old neighborhood. When they arrived at Ollie's apartment building, so Ollie wanted to bring his friends to his old family house, okay? But when they reached the place, what? It was being robbed, okay? There were two robbers who entered Mr. and Mrs. McLaughlin's house. So Ollie needed to do something and fast. He had to do something fast. Ollie kicked over a fire hydrant, sucked up all the water his trunk could hold, and blasted the crook. Shh! Leon roared to scare the robbers, waking the sleeping tenants, while Zoe nabbed the stolen goods. Zoe snatched away the stolen goods from the robbers. The police was soon on the scene and arrested the robbers. They went to catch the robbers. The police catch the robbers. All the curious tenants took to the streets, so all the neighbors came to the streets, including the McLaughlin family. So the McLaughlin family, they finally found Ollie the purple elephant. Ollie, yelled Peter and Shelby. Oh, how we have missed you. Why did you leave us? Please come home again. Their affection, their love, took Ollie by surprise. So Ollie's very surprised. Hey, why do you want me back? Ginger the cat told me that you didn't want me. And so Ollie said, I would love to. He said, you'll have me back. So Ollie asked, are you sure you want me back? There will be none of that, snarled Ringmaster. So Ringmaster said, no, you cannot take Ollie back. Rankovich, as he stepped onto the scene, come now, my circus animals, to the circus carts. It's off to the next town. So the ringmaster will not let Ollie the elephant go back. But I would like to stay here with my family, said Ollie. You signed a contract and you owe me another 20 years of circus performing. Now onto the cart you go. So the ringmaster said, no, you're not allowed to go because you promised me on the paper that you're going to perform for another 20 years with me. But I don't remember signing any contracts, thought a puzzled Ollie. Said, but I never signed, I never made this promise to you. Then what happened? Mr. McLaughlin snatched the contract away. Upon quick inspection, so he checked it, he proclaimed, this is a forgery and I can prove it. I happen to be the landlord of this building and every month I receive a check signed by one Mr. Puddlebottom. The handwriting on your contract is Mr. Puddlebottom's, not Ollie. So it wasn't Ollie who made this promise. It was Mr. Puddlebottom. Remember Mr. Puddlebottom, the very bad neighbor? So Mr. Puddlebottom, he used Ollie's signature and signed the promise, the contract. So never ever use other people's signature to sign your papers, okay? You cannot even use your parents' signature. You cannot sign using your parents' signature. This is wrong, okay? This is forgery. Okay, you can be caught by the police. So everyone was shocked, but not as shocked as Mr. Puddlebottom and Ringmaster Rankovich. The cousins had been caught red-handed, so they all have to go to jail, okay? Because they cheated Ollie. So Ollie, Mr. McLaughlin asked, won't you please come back and live with us? Absolutely, cheered Ollie. Then he thought of something. But what about my friends from the circus? Could they live here too? The police drove away with Ringmaster Rankovich and Mr. Puddlebottom. Well, it does look like we will have an open apartment, said Mrs. McLaughlin. So Mrs. McLaughlin said, okay, sure, your animals can come and stay because they can't perform in the circus anymore because the ringmaster got caught by the police, right? And so much to the chagrin of Ginger. That means Ginger's very sad now because now got more animals dancing, right? Ollie the elephant, Leon the lion, and Zoe the monkey all moved in. They lived in the apartment just below the McLaughlin's family, with whom they had many dance parties, both upstairs and down. The end.